Hello and welcome back to the arena. As I said before, this is a battle that I wanted to cover for a while, and although no one exactly asked for this battle, I'm still going to cover it. The reason why I wanted to review this battle is that there are several things in this battle that I need to address. The dynamics in this battle are very interesting because Passwurdz and Swain both have two very different styles. Sometimes with a matchup like this, the clash of styles can be so bad that it just makes the battle unwatchable. This battle, however, is actually very enjoyable. This is one of those battles where watching it and being at the venue will yield two different outcomes. Those at the venue probably thought Swain won. However, people watching the battle online would probably say that Passwurdz won. Which, in my opinion, I believe Passwurdz took this battle fairly easily. Find out why after the credits.
They say impossible could never be done, but is it possible that I'll be the one? So any obstacle will be overcome with every chord that has never been sung. So I tell them like, I know it, I know it, I know that I'm here to stay. But what's time and where's here? You have X amount of minutes.
Like I said before, there are many things I'd like to address in this battle, so I picked this battle because it provides the perfect platform to talk about the importance of delivery and material. When I first watched this battle, I didn't know much about either of these two. I saw Swain in the background of E.Ness's battle against Iron Solomon, another battle I will review in the future. So I wanted to learn more about him. Passwurdz I've heard references to before in many other battlers' bars, and eventually I finally got around to watching a Passwurdz battle, only to discover that I've seen a Passwurdz battle before. It's just for some reason whoever posted it didn't spell his name right, so I was under the impression that there were two Passwurdz, like the two namelesses in KOTD. Anyway, I've watched this battle numerous times and I still can't exactly fathom how unbalanced this battle is. Understand, I don't mean it's an unfair battle or that the NCs aren't battling on an even keel. I just mean unbalanced as in one has what the other needs. For someone like me, it was painfully obvious who won. Not to call anyone who thinks Swain won is stupid or anything. I would never do that. I'm just saying it was obvious for me because looks can be deceiving, and while it looked and sounded like Swain was winning, Passwurdz actually took it fairly easily in my opinion. An opinion that I'm going to share with you in this installment. So, let's begin. Passwurdz is the first to go, and what do I always say? The person who goes first sets the tone of the battle. Granted, that's not always the case because your opponent can easily steal it from you if you don't have a strong enough opening. I've seen many battles where the second person to rap gets overpowered by the first. Also, going first is a dangerous tactic because it exposes your style and material to your opponent, giving them a slight advantage at being aware of how you rap, your cadence, delivery, and style. Which is why I always say save the vast majority of your personals for the second round. But I digress. Let's go.
We ready? Let's keep it solid. Everybody I know told me not to take this weak ass battle. They said, nah, you and that Swain guy, that's a letdown. And how you going from Hollow to Dawn to Swain? Nigga, why? That's a step down. But if y'all watching, I promise this nigga ain't gonna survive to the next round, and if you do, you be at least paralyzed from the neck down.
So already, Passwurdz starts off the battle questioning Swain's clout as a worthy opponent. And considering Passwurdz did battle Hollow the Dawn, and held his own very well, at least in my opinion, this is a perfectly justified opening. So in this section, he manages to boast about his accomplishments and put Swain beneath him. Notice that Passwurdz isn't going for bragging rights here. He could have done like every other rapper and said, I beat such and such and such and such, but instead, Passwurdz goes in even more backhanded. and just states the fact that he could battle someone like Hollow the Dawn gives him clout already. Then he goes on to say how Philly Swain won't survive. Please keep in mind that at the moment, Passwurdz is addressing Philly Swain directly. Granted, he's talking to the crowd, but he's discussing the current situation. Keep that in mind. Moving on.
Yup. Everything you project as your image is just a gimmick. So let's be serious though, nigga. You just a hyper type fag. And don't nobody take your bars serious though, nigga. You jack that tiger tie swag.
So after saying that Swain was beneath him, he goes on to question his credibility as a gangster, calling him a gimmick and then a fag. The fag part is generic, but then again, you can't have a rap battle without some generic material. So it's all good. Then he states how no one takes him seriously and says he's jocking that tiger tie swag. Now, I had no clue who Tiger Tie was, so I had to go and do research in order to get that reference. And well, needless to say, Philly Swain just got majorly insulted. It goes on.
Now, it's cool if people like you because you coming off of the dome with them flows you on, but I know you wrong. It's just so whack that I'm praying this nigga's just making shit up as he goes along.
So not only does Passwurdz state that Philly Swain is beneath him, he questioned Philly Swain's credibility and makes fun of his swagger, and then goes on to address his rapping skills in general. Check this out.
But you ain't even really freestyling, because I know that it ain't true. You just recycle verses nobody's heard off a mixtape nobody bought. That shit was called Swain Flu. Now, if y'all go to a song called I Run This, and fast forward to 1 minute and 50 seconds, and watch his battle with E.Ness and tell me that shit ain't a big resemblance.
That was some awesome material pulled out of the bag by Passwurdz. It's not enough to say someone's recycling unheard verses. Passwurdz actually provides us with a way of acquiring the evidence ourselves. I give Passwurdz major props for this. Why? Because Passwurdz actually took the time to study up on Philly Swain to draw the comparison. I looked for the song I Run This and was unable to find it. But the point is, if you can provide documentation of falsehoods and discrediting material, then you really learned your opponent, and you're well on your way to victory. Thus far, Passwurdz is building an impressive case against Swain, but it goes on.
Therefore, your whole flow is facade. You a phony, a fraud. You an embarrassment to your partners, your family, your city, your homies, your squad. I should knock this fake Philly nigga out while he rapping. Call that a Joey Jihad.
I don't exactly get that reference. Granted, I know who Joey Jihad is, but I haven't heard or seen anything about him getting knocked out or anything. Unless, you know what? I think I get it. I think he was making a reference to Jihad the act and not Jihad the name, but threw Joey's name in there on some nameplay, wordplay stuff. Either way, Passwurdz established the tone of the battle by providing a case against Swain. Very impressive, too. Now, it's here where he starts to stumble. It's unfortunate, but he comes back okay.
Nah. Alright? Nah. Nah. This is you. You not on my level, I'm hot as a devil, I got me a pebble. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Don't nobody want to hear that weird Mason devil shit you spit. Knowing damn well you was in that damn cell showing niggas how flexible you get. You a homo, got me feeling hella uncomfortable standing next to you and shit. You and this nigga look like you about to go to the club right now, snort some blow, and do some questionable shit.
He makes fun of Philly Swain's style in a mocking fashion, then goes on to address Swain's time in jail. I have no clue if Swain did time in jail or not, but Passwurdz weaves it into his rhyme implying that Philly Swain was getting the Tom Dubois in jail. Then it comes in with generic lines about Swain being a homo. Granted, he already called him a faggot earlier, so this is just restating it. but I understand he has a rhyme scheme going here. Then he closes on a funny line about Swain and the guy standing next to him. It's not a strong closer, but it's a good one for the first round. At any rate, now that all of this is out in the open, Swain is put on the defensive. He needs to reestablish his credibility either with rebuttals or with some material on Passwurdz. Like I said earlier, Passwurdz actually took the time to provide us with references to examine Swain's material and to see if Passwurdz was lying. That's a ballsy move on Passwurdz' part. Passwurdz didn't use very many personals this round, but he did build a case and set forth a few things that are relevant to Swain only. Like I said, Swain can take Passwurdz in rebuttals or with his own material. Let's see how Swain does it.
I'm done, man. Fresh coach. Make some noise, y'all. Go,
Let's go, Phil.
y'all ready? Listen here, Gonzo. I leave you so far. If you ever be found, you'll be a fossil. Damn. Listen, Donnie Brasco. Tell the feds I'm moving squares. By the circle, you get griddled like a waffle. Listen here, Squanto. I need my money pronto. Or we gonna do you like the Russians did Alonzo. Listen, Alfonso. Your cargo say Paco. Want beef? I bring the shells. We can turn this to a taco.
Okay, these opening lines are... they're just not that good. Granted, the Donnie Brasco one is probably my favorite because of the whole body language and hand gestures Swain had going for him. But overall, those punches really weren't as hard as the crowd made them out to be. In fact, they weren't hard at all. Not even the training day reference, and that should have been a hard line. But it just fell flat, at least for me. I think it's because there wasn't any real cleverness in that reference. I understand this is a matter of taste, but listen to how Math Hoffa weaves in a training day reference during his battle with Iron Solomon.
It's training day. I'm Denzel to this dude. He the rookie white boy. I gotta tell him the rules. I let him think he's smoking math. Hit the pipe and he's set. That's when I turn and say, I ain't know you like to get wet. Now he wiping his sweat.
Math flowed a nice comparison between himself and Denzel, and referenced a lot of people's favorite part of the movie and used it to trash Solomon. Over here, well, Swain might have well have just said, I'm gonna shoot you, because that's pretty much what happened to Alonzo, so, yeah, anyways.
See, the crowd at my last battle showed mad disrespect, so I used that junkyard for recycling. Poison, thanks for the check. They say that PH beat me. I beg your pardon? When do they ever cheer for Jordan in Madison Square Garden?
I don't get it. I saw his battle with PH. My initial reaction, I think Swain won it, but who knows, I may change my mind after watching it 3 or 4 times. Anyway, pardon me for not being a basketball fan, or a sports fan in general for that matter, but I just don't get this. Is he drawing a parallel between himself and Michael Jordan, the crowd at the PH battle and the crowd of Madison Square Garden? If so, I fail to see how this would get the reaction it did. Also, considering Swain already has a basketball-related nickname being called the LeBron James of Grindtime, wouldn't a LeBron James metaphor fit better than a Jordan one? I have no problem with people using basketball or sports-related lines, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they have to cater to someone like me. I'm just saying that there are more clever ways to use them. Check out Iron Solomon's basketball metaphor he used against E.Ness.
But if you was LeBron James, then I'd be Dwayne Wade. We both graduated at the same time from the same grade. He was at the head of the class, on TV with celebrity acts, but that champion ring was one thing you never could grasp. I was slightly rated lower, had to fight to gain exposure, and that might have made me slower, but now I have taken over. And I'm down in Miami's heat, living my boyhood dreams, and for you to do what I've done, you'd have to join my team.
That takes some real genius to use an actual event and relate it to the current situation. That almost worked out too perfectly for Solomon, and it's even better when you consider he is actually in Florida while he's rapping. So that definitely gets the crowd on his side. But here, Swain just uses it as a reference to his last battle. Not bad, but there was much more he could have done with that. Anyways, he goes on.
The blammy clap. You survive, you'll be handicapped.
Yes, Philly Swain, that's usually how it works. Someone gets shot and they survive, they're usually handicapped. The reason why this line failed, at least for me, is because it felt like Philly Swain was saying it as if there was some question if Passwurdz was going to be handicapped or not, if he survived getting shot. Go on.
You getting fried cause I'm hot like handicaps.
I don't know what those are. Forgive me, but I have no clue what handicaps are, so...
Safety off the toaster. Motherfucker holster. My aim is on point like a Uncle Sam poster.
That was a fun line. I like that, and his follow-up to it is pretty damn good too.
It's like, hold on.
Weird, bro.
It's radiation. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. It's like radiation when that thing you be quaking. You go bald before you die like a leukemia patient.
Nice. But after this, he starts to lose me, and I'll tell you why in a bit.
Hold on. I love the bay, shout the no can do. But you beat me, nigga, no can do. You must know kung fu. I fuck you up with the quick 1-2. This niglet, I watch his chicklets drop all on his shoe.
Here's the thing about Swain in this battle. He's saying a lot of hardcore heavy stuff, but all I hear is,
I'm bigger than you, I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly.
as I said earlier, Passwurdz was building a case against Swain. What do I always say? A rap battle is a debate. Who wins a debate? Obviously the side that's done the most research on the other. Passwurdz didn't come at Swain with some gangsta stuff. He would have undeniably lost if he did. Instead, Passwurdz came at Swain with references and citations to attack Swain's character, none of which Swain had any rebuttals for. Swain attacks Passwurdz with gangsta stuff, which essentially is kind of making Passwurdz look better since he called Swain out on it earlier. This is a battle of brains over brawn. Passwurdz knows he can't beat Swain in the gangsta department. I mean, look at him. Swain is big, mean-looking, and physically intimidating. Even the Saurus said he was afraid of Swain during their battle.
I'm a grown man and I'm never one that's scared to die. But for that last 90 seconds, I was genuinely terrified.
So Passwurdz doesn't fight Swain, he just outsmarts him, and thus far it's working because not one rebuttal came from Swain's mouth. I'm not saying Swain has to beat Passwurdz on rebuttals, but he sure as hell isn't attacking Passwurdz with any personals at all. And that's saying a lot when pretty much all of Passwurdz material was directly aimed at Swain. But Swain does mention something. Let's continue.
You fucking Urkel! I really want to murk you! Your crew follow a rat like the fucking Ninja Turtles!
Great. Okay, so there's a rat in his crew. Elaborate. Give us a name or something to prove your case. You can't drop a bombshell like that and not detonate it. So who is the rat in Passwurdz' crew? What did he do to make himself out to be a rat? This could be the beginning of a brilliant case against Passwurdz, questioning the credibility of the other people he hangs around with. Unfortunately, Swain doesn't use this opportunity and instead goes on to the generic.
You a big germ. All you do is lick sperm.
What?
Daughter, you embarrassing me. Montana fish burn.
Not that great of a closer, but much better than Pass. Still, overall, I give this first round to Passwurdz. Why? Because he came crazy personal on Swain and really made Swain out to look like a chump. Passwurdz is playing it smart and not attempting to engage Swain on his level. Passwurdz needs to maintain his stance and continue to outsmart Swain at each turn with personals and references. Swain didn't say anything that would warrant a rebuttal from Passwurdz, so all Passwurdz has to do is to keep his head on straight. Swain, if he's going to get a win, he needs to stop trying to physically intimidate Passwurdz and battle him as an MC. Swain clearly isn't lacking in lyrical ability, and instead of letting his size speak for him, he needs to let his bars do the punching for him. So round 1 goes to Passwurdz. Let's go to round 2.